For centuries, we have heard about the Almighty God, the one who apparently created everything in existence, ruled heaven, created heaven, snapped the finger and said, "Let there be light, let there be humans, let there be life," everything like that. But no one was able to see God. Well, today I finally, after research, studying and being fascinated and learning and talking to hundreds and hundreds of people, I finally get to reveal to you what God looks like. And it's not AI. So this is not AI generated. No tricks, no lies, and no fakeness. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all living things. I present to you God. This, my friends, family, everybody, is God. This is the one that everyone's been talking about and raging over. This is Him. This is God. Many of you who have been in debates with Christians, when the debates get heated and they get put into a corner, the first thing they say is, "The Bible tells us." And this is not the only form. There are many other forms of God and different gods. Here's the Christian one. This is God. This book it's saved lives, but it has destroyed so many lives, so many kingdoms, so many people, so many cities, countries, continents. It's destroyed so many things, which is why it gets banned. It's banned in the year 2055. It was deemed as the most threat to mankind ever in the history of the world. This is God. What this book says, it has its worshipers carry out the orders, even if it comes to killing children, women. This book says it. This is God. Of God. This is one, but this is it. You now know what God looks like. Now, God wasn't always dark like this. God once was like, didn't have a name at all, but it was an entity called the universe. Okay, while we're at it, I'm gonna introduce you to a few other gods. That's the Christian God. And then here's another God. The Seventh-day Adventist. Here's another God. This one's called Allah, but this one's like, this is the God of the Muslims. And that's another God. And here is a very powerful God in the earth realm, the Book of Mormon. This is a God who seemed to have left the realm of this God, or wherever this one came from, and started his own thing. And this also said it's another testament of Jesus. So they're saying, well, they're probably saying like what happened after he was crucified and survived the crucifixion. They might be trying to say where he went after. And so that's a god. Now here's a very interesting god. This one's hardcore. This book actually starts. This is the book of Urantia, which is the extraterrestrial Bible, apparently. So that's another god that's just way out there. Look at the thickness comparison. This is the regular Bible. This is the Quran, regular Bible, Book of Mormon. But look at the Urantia. This one actually starts with Jesus. It's crazy. But there's a interesting chapter in here about biracial children. So this one I can't mess with yet. It's just too hardcore. It's I haven't even. Someone told me to get this book, and I read a little bit, but it was just too much to read. Just like this one. So this, and there's the Satanic Bible. That's another god. That's the devil. You know, Satan is actually a disease. I'll explain that another time, but that book's not allowed in my house. So I don't have that book. I have looked at it. But, so right here, this is just 5 gods. You know, there's a Rastafarian book. There's I forgot to put the Jehovah's Witness book. You know, like the Watchtower and stuff like that. That is another god, even though they're using this one, but they're teaching differently. So, this God right here said, in the commandment, said, like, don't worship any other gods because I'm jealous. That's because he knew that all these were coming. Knew about all these. But see, this one's a powerful God. This one is kind of another one who left from here. So, all these people, they left from here, and they left from here, and this one, I believe they're like I said, but there is let's get into like how they trapped parts of the universe, because the universe is alive. It grows, it eats, and it needs air to live. So the universe is alive. The universe is the original creator. But mankind was able to trap parts of the universe in these books, and then gave them form by calling it a hymn. As soon as you Genesis 1:27 is where where they first trapped God, or trapped parts of the universe and called it God. That's where everything went to shit. I believe there's over 4,000. I read yesterday. There's over 4,000 religions out there. So let's continue. Now, this God didn't always rule. God did not always exist. God was a form that was designed by man. And how man did this is they captured a part of the universe. And how they captured a part of the universe was they took the abilities and powers of the universe, such as the universe is what it is. The universe is not a name. The universe is what it is. It's everything that you see around us. When you see the sun rise, when you see a flower bloom, when you see ants do their business, when you see you go to school, go to work, live life, when you see the stars, when you see the moon, that is the universe. It is what it is. God has a definition, and that definition is, as far as the biggest threats to me was like jealous, vengeful, and can be tempted. And some men say it's loving. But how did they had to capture? How did man capture the universe? He simply put it into a book. And this is how you trap a god, or this is how you trap an entity. You give it, you take what it does, the universe brought light and animals and all that stuff, and then you give the credit to a human. That human's name was God. That's what they decide to. Maybe it was dog backwards because dog is a faithful companion, and you can even have it attack your enemies if you wish, just like Psalms. In Psalms, the guy is asking God to help him kill his enemies. So they call it God, and there's a Allah, as you've seen. There's different ones. There's like 4,000 different ones now. I have to research that myself. I'll have to ask my AI friends to confirm it. But so how did they do it? God first got captured in Genesis 1:27. So that was early on. So it says, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. And I believe they took the female, they left the female out. But so this goes a long time ago. They gave God a name, and then they gave God a form. That form was male. Now God is existing. And so throughout history, I believe the Bible is 100% true. It's just how leaders interpret it, and how these pastors and preachers tell you what things mean. Like they were saying Mary Magdalene was a prostitute, when nowhere in the Bible does it state so. The Bible is just a collaboration of real events. There are real events, but they just spoke, in mythical ways, like seas parting, swords coming out the mouth, which means, just a person had powerful way of speaking. So some people took things literal, and that's where we got the world we have today. But God was created by the thoughts of men. All day you can say, no, God created the universe. That's a cop-out. That's too easy. As soon as humans they ask themselves, I wonder what's outside of the universe, outside of space. And when they go crazy on like trying to come up with a answer, and their mind blacks out, they just say God created it. It's easy. It's just like it's a cop out. Just like when people say the devil made me do it, that's a cop out. And I understand that's a hard question. I asked myself that question when I was like 11, 12 years old. I asked myself what's outside of the outside of space, and almost ended up in a mental institution. So it's easier to just say, well, God did it. And then when people say, how did God do it? And then they always say, don't question God. So again, God took form when they told you who God was. They said, like if you say, what's the universe? The universe is, they'll answer you and say that the universe is everything behind you, around you. But if you say, who is God? God, they'll tell you God is all loving, the one and he's vengeful. He can be jealous, so don't worship other gods. He can be tempted. He flooded the earth. He. So that's the difference. When they ask you about God, you can tell who God is. And long story short, God is a narcissist. This God they created is a narcissist. All the traits of a narcissist, he'll be real nice to you, but the first time you piss him off, he'll do horrible things to you. He'll kill your children. He'll send plagues to your place. He'll destroy your whole territory by meteor showers and stuff. So he's bad news. I think that's it. So, but like I said, all the stuff that is happening in this world is because of what that book said. And they said that God gave you his commandments and told you what to do in that book. And people worship that book. So that's who God is. Am I wrong? You get into a debate with one of these people who follow one of these books, and they say the Quran tells us, the Bible tells us, the Book of Mormon tells us. I've seen it all. I've been given these answers, and they always say the Bible tells us when a Christian runs out of ammunition, because they're cookie cutter debaters. So you know what they're going to say, but when they come in, when they get trapped in a corner, they say the Bible tells us, and it lets them off the hook, and then you're supposed to try to go into this Bible, which is a setup, and then you'll never get out. I remember saying that when I was real young. I'm all, if you go in the Bible, you'll never get out because it contradicts too much. So that's it. And now, they trap God, and God can't get out. This entity is saying like, no, I didn't say that. Man is just saying, he made this Bible and this book and said, God said this, he does that, he flooded the world, he killed this, he did that. And they given this entity a bad name, and the real entity is out there saying, this is not true. But since mankind worships the Bible and believes everything the Bible says, they won't believe, they can't hear the voice of the entity trying to say, that is an imposter, that's not me. So that's how they trap the creator in a book. Lots of books. Now they have like all these thousands of books speaking for them. Even billboards on the freeway are speaking for this entity, calling them God. And that entity, I don't know if that entity will ever be heard again. Honestly, I think the star children, star seeds, and new children one day will let this entity out of its prison. But until then, the Bible is God.